Hey, welcome in everyone. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Frazier. We're doing a quick little live stream here to give you a latest update as this cold front is pushing its way through much of West Texas, has already made impacts, and temperatures are continuing to plummet, especially now given that the sun has set. So here's what we're looking at. Overall temperatures below freezing for much of the Permian Basin. Keep in mind the sun set, maybe 30 minutes ago, so we're not looking at anything extreme right now, but it's going to be getting even colder all the way until sunrise tomorrow. That's typically the case when it comes to low temperatures. Whenever I say the low tonight, it really means the low in the early part of the morning, really around 7:30 or so, just after sunrise. And the afternoon highs tend to be in the afternoon, right around 4 or 5 o'clock. Kind of depends on the season. Because during the winter time, we tend to not have as much sunlight. Here's what we're looking at now. So this graphic right off to your side, that's going to have not just the air temperature, but in the little purplish pink color, that's going to be the feels like temperature with the wind chill. That's the biggest thing with this entire system, is going to be the winds more than anything else. I'm not looking at anything too extreme, but you know what? It could be a lot worse. A number of regions are going to be seeing temperatures get down even colder than this, on top of the potential for wintry precipitation. To put this into perspective, yesterday was a relatively just normal day. Not too hot, not too cold, but we are looking at overall the last 24 hours, almost a 30 to 40 temperature drop. Yeah. Now, there is an exception, one of them being Presidio down there, up 6 degrees. You're probably wondering what's going on there. Well, the main dividing line with that cold front, we just haven't seen those impacts of the front reach southern parts of Texas just yet. It will. It's just going to take likely a couple of more hours than it did for places like Snyder, which are seeing the largest impacts. Now, keep in mind too, much of this is going to be more of a central and North Texas kind of event. So let me go ahead and actually zoom out on the radar here. You can really tell where a lot of that wintry precipitation is going to be taking place. That dividing line is almost the I-40 corridor, where we're kind of seeing, maybe along the lines of, hey, wow, yeah, we're seeing that kind of Texarkana dividing line right there between freezing temperatures and not so freezing temperatures. All right, heavy snowfall across much of the Mississippi River Valley, but out here, no, we're not worried about much, or are we seeing much of anything. You might see a few little disturbances here kind of moving into the northern part of Hobbs, maybe even Seminole. Is that stuff actually going to be making its way to the ground? Not going to be the case. If we do see something, by all means, please let me know. Most of this stuff is going to be in the upper part of the atmosphere. Humidity values just aren't high enough to see any large-scale impacts. The biggest impacts going to be extreme cold warning and those cold weather advisories. Now, the extreme cold warning, basically, National Weather Service took 3 different factors and combined them all into one warning. So the new winter warnings, they kind of started a little bit last year, are being fully implemented this year. It's going to involve the air temperature, the feels like temperature, and the winter precipitation potential. Now, it has to be just one of those 3, or it could be all 3. This time around, it's just going to be wind chill factor. In the blue, expect wind chill values down to -5. In the white, out to the west, expect wind chill values down to about 0. That's going to stay in effect not just tonight, but also for tomorrow night as well, because we're looking at this long-term cold lingering around. Overnight tonight, lots of those teens, down to 10 degrees for Odessa tonight, 11 for Midland, single digits in Andrews, Big Spring, Hobbs, down to 9 degrees. Lamesa and Snyder being some of the coldest, getting down to 7 degrees. And that's not including the wind. So we're getting close to kind of frostbite category just with temperatures like this already. And then you put the wind on top of it, you get those feels like temperatures in the negatives. We just ran during our 6 o'clock show that Midland ISD is now actually opening schools earlier and then staying open a little bit later to allow kids to not have to stay outside and wait for their car or bus, or hey, once they get in early, they can go indoors and stay nice and warm. That's actually a very good idea. And of course, Salvation Army has multiple warming shelters open around the region, because once temperatures hit 42, they open up those warming shelters. So take advantage of it and make sure that even if you're not planning on going outdoors for a long period of time, make sure you have that heat on, you have those layers ready to go too. Good news, we don't have to worry about any of those roads freezing over, but it's still going to be pretty cold tomorrow. Temperatures for your high, I have projected only reaching about 31. Now, some of the models, they were going as much as 33, 35 degrees. Even then, it's still not much above freezing. Not like we're looking at any kind of patchy ice or anything, but you know, it's gonna be cold all throughout the day. So let's bring down those feels like temperatures and the actual air temperatures to early tomorrow morning. Here's what we're looking at. 13 for Midland, -2 for the actual feels like. Snyder at 9, feels like -10. Let's move it a little bit slowly into the early part of the day. All right, starting to warm up. Presidio into the 60s by around 3 o'clock or so. Not bad, maybe maxing out at about 35. Again, some of the models were saying one temperature or another. I usually just take an average of a lot of them. Nonetheless, hey, warms up a little bit, and then, yeah, the sun goes down. We start going back down all the way into the early part of the morning. Still more of the teens, still those feels like temperatures in those single digits and even negatives. It starts to warm back up going into your Thursday, getting a little bit better. Notice 5 o'clock, 5:30, almost everyone gets above freezing. And then the sun goes down and we're going to be dipping down. Maybe not as many widespread teens, but still a lot of those 20s lingering around, and feels like temperatures in those single digits. This is going to be a long-term kind of cold event, about 3 days, give or take. So keep that in mind. Make sure that you guys are prepared, ready to go. It's not the time to panic buy. We're not looking at anything really crazy in terms of ice. No. It's just going to be cold and it's going to be windy. Stuff that we can normally deal with. Just think of it like summer, but reversed. Just hot and windy. We deal with that all the time. This time around, just make sure you're limiting time outdoors. As a result, make it easier for yourself. So here's what you need to know. I really haven't changed this all that much from yesterday because everything still holds true. From right now till about Thursday, potentially even into Friday. We'll keep our eye on it, seeing that. Negative to single digit wind chills, low temperatures in the teens, potentially even more single digits. Protect those 4 Ps, and of course keep up with us for the latest forecast. Well, what are those 4 Ps? People, pets, plants, and pipes. So people, you definitely want to keep more susceptible people inside. That's going to be really good for anyone like kids or even elderly people. Just keep them inside, make sure everything is nice and warm. At minimum, keep temperatures in your apartment, your house, wherever you may be, at least at 60 degrees, if not a little bit warmer too. Also depending on how much you're willing to pay your electric bill. Pets, keep them inside, keep them protected as well. Now there are certain breeds of cats and dogs that are built to handle a cold. I've had a number of friends and family members with, big fluffy dogs built for that snow and that cold weather. If the pet is fine, then that's okay too, but let the pet tell you as well. Just like a little woof or meow. All right, enough of that. Plants, take sensitive plants inside. Now, we don't have a lot of plants out here, but anything like a potted plant, maybe on your porch, patio, maybe you want to bring them indoors for the time being. Another big thing, and I really should have moved this to the top of the 4 Ps, it's going to be the pipes. Pipes are going to be the biggest issue when it comes to much of West Texas and much of Texas and other states in general when it comes to the cold. We tend to get a lot of those pipes freezing up. Now, it always depends on the material that it's made out of. Now, plastic pipes like PVC pipes, they tend to, hold off the best. Metal pipes like lead, copper, and even iron pipes, those tend to have more issues because the metal tends to move, like expand and contract depending on temperatures, which can therefore mess up that water. All right, what you want to do, drip the pipes. About 10 drips every couple of seconds or so should be ideal. You don't need it to be a steady stream, but moving water is always going to be easier to not freeze. Let's put it that way. Still water freezes faster than moving water. You don't see rivers that are flowing, freezing, unlike lakes that are kind of still. Those tend to freeze over. Does that make sense? I try at the end of the day. All right. Also, use exterior protection. If you have exposed pipes outside, wrap them up. Styrofoam is going to be a great trick. And yes, the Whataburger styrofoam cups, those have actually been proven to help out those pipes. So maybe before it gets too cold, take a trip out to Whataburger. All right. Final look at all the next couple of days. Still going impact alert, at least for Wednesday and Thursday, just because we're looking at prolonged temperatures below the freezing point for an extended length of time. I may even extend it a little bit into Friday, just because we're still looking at highs only getting up to 42 and lows that following night getting down to about 27. But by the weekend, we start to warm back up rapidly too. Just about as quickly as we cooled off, we're going back up. 50s, 70s, 80s, all making a comeback. You know what? We will certainly accept it. I'm not going to complain. Just make sure that you guys are taking the proper precautions. It's not our first cold spell. It won't be our last. Hopefully, it will be the last, at least, of the season. One can hope, but we'll certainly keep you updated with the latest. I also just updated the weather article on the newswest9.com/weather. I write those out every single day. Andy Mead in the morning also goes ahead and updates it. We also put our clips from our shows. If you happen to miss out on our show, go ahead and check that out as well. You can also catch us on the streaming app like right now, or even on Facebook. I'm keeping my updates as well on Chief Meteorologist Jordan Frazier. And of course, also check out Meteorologist Andy Mead. He is taking care of all of our morning shows as well. So keep up to date. And of course, if you don't have it, go ahead and download that Newswest 9 app, available on the App Store and Google Play. And hey, it's free. You might see some ads, but it's free. I mean, we got to run some ads every once in a while. At the end of the day, we need to make a little bit of money. But nonetheless, hey, thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys as well. Make sure to stay safe out there, stay warm. We will keep you updated, of course, if anything changes.